Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Enclosed Cosmology. I'm glad that y'all are with us today and joining us for this procession. And we'll get into that here in a little bit, but what that means for those that are new. But we'll go ahead and kind of say hi to everyone first. So as y'all can kind of see, we're kind of missing some people today, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit again. But we'll go ahead and say hi to who's here. So first we got Daryl Lee with us. How you doing this evening, brother?
I'm doing all right. Sad to hear about Anthony. A little under the weather myself. It was just snowing here a minute ago. But I'm happy to be here anyhow. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom, indeed. And yeah, and we'll get into that a little bit more for sure. I'd like to update everyone as to what's going on, at least to what I know. But anyways, let's go ahead and say hi to Marsha. How you doing this evening, sister?
Doing very well, Vader, and glad to see everybody here. And Shabbat Shalom.
Absolutely. Alrighty, so kind of some housekeeping to do. So those that know Anthony Dickinson, he's obviously been here, part of every show. He was violently detained last night on his birthday, and uh, the information he gave me, he was at a Walmart. He was taken by three different basically force violently taken by three different deputies of his county, and then they went into his car. They took multiple of his knives and multiple of his guns, that which he all owned legally. He can completely had. They put that in a different vehicle, and him in another vehicle. They took that vehicle to meet officers, which they gave the officers. They did the switch in the woods as opposed to doing the switch at a county, getting booked there, and then getting extradited to the next county. They did a swap, and so now he is in jail. I'm guessing because they did it on Friday, they're not going to be able to talk to him and get his arraignment until Monday. So he called me. He's alive. He's in good spirits, but of course, you can only be in such good spirits when stuff like that happens to you. We'll definitely give people more of an update once I hear it from him. I'm guessing sometime Monday or maybe Tuesday when he gets another chance to call. So yeah, everyone, please put Anthony Dickinson in your prayer. That the Lord would have His will, and that that everything or anything that the Father is trying to show him through this, that he would be made edified, and he would be drawn closer to the Father, even through this unfortunate experience. So, anyways. I feel for him, and he made me promise that we keep doing the show without him, if it ever happens. So yeah, just keep him in your prayers, and I'll get y'all an update as soon as I get one. So, anyways, so I don't know if that kind of summed it up, because Daryl literally just learned from me, just a handful of minutes ago, that was the case. And the first thing he said is on his birthday, and it's like, yeah, I bet they were like casing him and like, oh, on birthday he'll probably go out, and do something. And he just went to Walmart probably to get himself food. But sure enough, like they had it. It seemed like it was
Right.
set up. So
Yeah, Fridays are always they love to do things on Fridays, even our government, so that the whole weekend, you have to wait through the whole weekend.
yeah, totally. So, anyways, I don't want to, he wouldn't want us to, hang too much on that. But yeah, just keep him in your prayers, and I'll give you all an update when we can. But yeah, let's kind of get into what this is. So for those who are new, we're doing a procession episode. Basically, what that means is we're proceeding from one topic, and that's been Abraham and Abraham's sons and the covenant that he made with the Father, and down to Isaac in that event that happened on that altar, and just showed the type of man that Abraham was and his relationship that he had with the Father. And so, in this preceding one, we're going to be moving on. So we kind of want to wrap up, our maybe some of the, because in this show it's not a super deep dive into one specific topic. We do that on the Discord all the time. This is more so like to put a foundation of what Scripture is, in a nutshell, so that we can move on to not only other edifying periods like Moses, etc., Yeshua, etc., but also to kind of what's going on in our modern day, and looking at those type of things. So, this is something that we'll come back to, and we'll spend time in each of these things along the way. But right now, in this first kind of season, even though it's going to be a forever season, is going to be kind of focused, but just a slice of the pie, not the whole thing. But anyways, and then the rest of the show will be basically us kind of bringing up those topics that maybe we didn't get to talk about directly within those shows, because even though it's 2-hour shows, they go by pretty fast. And then we'll go into kind of just a random talk. So there's only 3 of us today, so that may take less time than I'm thinking, but I guess we'll kind of just get into it and go from there. If unless there's anything else that y'all kind of want to bring up that doesn't have to do with that, we can go ahead and do that now, or we can go ahead and get into it. What would y'all like to do?
Oh, just go ahead and get into it. I don't know what else to.
Sweet. Yeah, I just didn't know if announcements or hey, I want y'all to, whatever it is. But anyways, no worries. Okay, so yeah, I'll kind of continue on with what I was saying. So as we've kind of seen through Abraham's journey, and actually want to take one step backward. If we're looking at actually Noah's journey, and the things that he saw, and coming out of that into Nimrod's era, which is the era we're currently in, right, about Abraham. But we look at the type of behavior and the things that Nimrod do, or choose your name, Gilgamesh, Apollyon, Apollo, whatever, and and then we showed we had a procession to Abraham, where we showed the difference of the kind of the gifts, if you would call them that. I would call them curses, that Nimrod received, and the type of behavior his society had, and all the that went along with it. And then juxtapose that to Abraham and his walk with the actual true living God, right? Yah, and to see his blessings through. And we get it there at the end of Genesis 2, where it's saying, for all nations will be blessed because Abraham listened to the voice of the Father. So, like, just merely by doing that, like, that's the blessing that was bestowed on everyone, because Abraham was obedient. And then we see that juxtaposed to what we had talked about before with Nimrod, and the type of like kingdom he had. He had slavery, he had debauchery, he had child sacrifice, he had cannibalism, he had all of these type of things which go against our innate knowledge of the difference of good and evil, right? Like, we know treating a human being in such a way is either right or wrong, it's good or evil, it's black or white. So that being said, and then so the reason why I bring that up is because, to me, those are such different things. Like, for instance, Nimrod, he earthly, he had probably whatever pleasure he wanted, he had whatever food and gluttony he wanted, he could have anything. And even the people and the rich people there, right, like they were part of the depravity and the, and you know, and the sorcery or whatever, you know, pick your, you know, word. Um but you know, they were a part of that, and we literally see Abraham come out of that, and we see the type of things that the Father requests of him, and the blessings that follow when there was obedience. And we lead that all the way up again to Isaac, where he's, this whole promise is all on this one son, you know, on Isaac. And the Father is saying, you know, get rid of that blessing. And not only that, but it's like it was his son. You know, he was 100 years old when he had this child, you know, and to a wife, you know, who they didn't think could ever have a child. And yet this whole, his whole promise and blessing is upon this child. And he's saying, okay, well, what's more important, you know, your relationship with me, this is the Father speaking, or the blessing that you know, that I gave you. And you know, me or the blessing. And you know, Abraham was willing to choose to obedience, and as opposed to the blessing which was his son, and he was blessed even more so.
Right.
And then again, bring it just back one more time. You look at Nimrod's character, and you can see, like, you know, we only have so much information, but we can get hints of it through secular information and the stories of Gilgamesh and this character Nimrod and the type of you know, things that he did. But but point being is literally, what did he get? He got destruction. So like, being away from the Father brought him destruction. And then we look at Abraham, and him being close to the Father brought him blessing. And I just think that's so amazing, like the way that the Father puts, you know, that scripture together, and to show that difference. You know, and to know, like, you know, at least my views of it, they were contemporaries. Abraham was leaving Nimrod's nation of this depravity that his father and his household were a part of, into, you know, out into own. He became a wanderer, a nomad, until he was given land. So it's like, that's a pretty big deal. And so I think we can definitely learn from Abraham, and having that same type of heart and trust in the Father, where even if, you know, we're up against something like losing our own child, which is obviously an extreme example, we'd be willing to give that up, for the sake of the Father.
It definitely shows blessings and cursings. And you follow the Father, you will be blessed. And it's just an awesome story. And it's awesome that even Abraham came out of that. You know, it's almost like the finger of God was on him and said, "You're going to come out of that whole Nimrod stuff."
Yeah, so this is kind of my thing that I always think about in that, because like, either way, it doesn't take away from it, but I really think it's interesting to be like, was it the Father that gave him the inkling to question these things, or because he questioned these things is why the Father called them out? You know what I mean?
I do. I think the Father is wooing people all the time, and Abraham listened, I guess, or questioned, and then God just started watering that seed right there.
Yeah. Today in Sabbath service, we were going over, um, you know, because we're, you know, coming up to Passover, um, and I know people have different calendars. I get it. This isn't really a calendar discussion, but the reason why I brought that up, is because of the, you know, the fact that, like, for we read a couple examples. It was about, you know, forgiveness, and one of the scriptures, I cannot remember it off the top of my head, but it was about, excuse me, it was about when, um like the prodigal son and that interaction, and then the debt given and one given, their debt being, completely, all the debts being completely forgiven and one being less than the other, envious of the one who had more debt forgiven. And then you look at uh, the example of the guy who was in a lot of debt, and he goes to his master and his master forgives him. And then another person comes to him, another worker comes to him and says like, hey, will you forgive this significantly less amount of debt? And he's like, no, like, pay me that back. And so I bring that up because in all of this, and definitely with Abraham, um, I think that Abraham had to go through uh, quite a significant stuff, like with his, with the stuff and his wife, and the stuff with, Hagar, and having to, disown, his son Ishmael, and kick out, basically his son, which at that time, it's not like he was an infant or anything, but it's like a man that in all rights and anywhere else conceived, basically with a husband and a wife, would have had an inheritance. But now, he doesn't. He just has to walk out there, and it's like they were gonna die if it wasn't for an angel that interceded and showed them a well. So um and so even though Abraham was very blessed, right? Like, we also see the struggles in his hearts, and kind of the some of the things that he does. Like, he lies because he's scared that his wife, like that they'll kill him because his wife's so beautiful and they want her instead of him, and so he lies and says his sister. And then you have um those examples where in the first place he hearkens into the wife of Sarah to lay with Hagar, and so we see kind of the negatives of that as well. And that brings me to the connection to Passover, is like, we all need that redeemer. We all need that, even someone who, like Abraham, who did all these amazing things, and we see blessed over and over. Like, even he knew he needed a savior. He needed someone to do it. And I very much think that he thought maybe that was Isaac, and that's why he was willing to kind of take it to that level. But obviously he didn't need to. A scapegoat was made. So yeah, I know I kind of keep circling around. I just think it's so beautiful the way that um, that the Father wrote that, and gives us that, and how it connects to everything. Like, I'm bringing up Passover and Abraham, which are seemingly two different things. We would be told by two different things, and the subjects, even though the subjects are different, the heart and the need for that that same passing over his sins, Abraham needed that as well.
I never even thought of what you just said there. It never had come to mind that Abraham might have thought that Isaac was the savior. Never entered my mind before. I mean, it's possible, yeah.
Yeah, obviously he wasn't, right? But
Right.
I think in his mind, that's maybe one way. Like, when he said, like, through this, all nations, like, through your sons, all nations will be blessed. And then looking at the Messiah, where literally, like, through the Messiah, all nations were blessed. Like, you remove the Gentiles, now you just have Israel, right? Which means anyone who puts their heart after the Father. Like, so he, which is a conglomerate of tons of nations all scattered around, from every nation and tongue. So yeah, I think it's an interesting thought to think, like, maybe he thought this is the one, this is how everyone was going to be saved. And that's how he had like, obviously, an angel had to come and stop him from doing it, right? So that means he was going to do it. So, but anyways, hey, I see that Chris is here. I just want to take a second and say hi to you, brother. Hope you're doing good. If you'd like to say hi to everyone, I'd appreciate. I don't mind.
I'm a robot at the
Hi,
moment.
Chris.
Peace and blessings.
You actually don't.
Blessings and peace. Right.
Yeah, you don't sound too bad. But anyways, so yeah, I don't know anything
Yeah.
kind of in what we've been reading all this time with Abraham and his sons and um, kind of things that we didn't get to really talk about that y'all want to bring up.
Uh, no, but like what Marcia just said, and I didn't ever think about that either, that he might have thought Isaac was the prophet, because in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15, it says, "The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, and thy brethren like unto me. To him ye shall hearken." So yeah, he very well could have thought Isaac could have been the one, huh?
Yeah, totally, and that's why he was willing to go all that way. Um, and why the father had to send an angel to be like, "Yo, stop! You can't do that. Here's your scapegoat. Y'all do this together." And just think about that experience, right? Because Isaac is also knows his father, right? Like he he sees the type of father the type of man his father is, his character and his integrity, etc. And he sees the way his father treats, people who are of his house but not of his line. And he sees the blessings that his father has received, right? Because I don't, like, a lot of people kind of picture him dumb, but I picture him like he's quite knowledgeable, right? Like all the kings in the area know who he is. Like they see that he's blessed, they're envious of him. They even come
He's
and
a man
still,
of total integrity.
yeah, totally. And so Isaac is seeing this man, and then have your father be like, I don't think Isaac was dumb. He kind of understood what was going on, but I also feel like he had faith in his father.
I think he had faith in realizing that, um, even in God Himself, that what if God is having you do this? I believe it also. I mean, I
Yeah.
think he's,
That's what I'm saying, because like
yeah,
it's his father, and he's seen the type of man, and it's like, my dad's not gonna just do this for the fun of it. There's a specific reason why he would say do this thing. So I think that's cool to kind of see Isaac's character there too, because he's never trying to run away or get away. His dad doesn't like bind him up and like so he
right,
can't move, you know.
right.
So yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah, and speaking of his character, in chapter 17, it says, and verse 1, it says, "And when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abraham and said unto him, I am the Almighty God, walk before me and be thou perfect." Um, so, hanging out with him, he was learning, how to be perfect, and
He was following
emulating that,
Torah. Yeah.
yeah, following Torah and just walking with the Lord, that he was getting a greater understanding of how to be a good person, and how to treat others.
Yeah,
So that was
absolutely.
pretty awesome.
Oh, totally. And what was that verse again? You said Genesis 19 what?
Uh, Chapter 17,
Oh,
verse 1.
17. I misheard you. I thought you said. I just wanted to bring it up for everyone. Be perfect. Yeah. So if that's the type of behavior that Abraham's doing, Isaac's going to see that behavior, and then to me that means that's why he didn't need to bind him and you know put, he literally just, his son was being obedient, and that's so cool. Like like I was saying, like I bet Isaac's willingness, to be obedient, like also kind of like doubled down. Like what I mean is, like, Abraham was like gonna do it, but then he had like this thing in his heart, but this is my son. And then Isaac looked at him, and was like, "No, Dad, like this is something you have to do." And then, so it's like, and not necessarily that dialogue happened, but that, like, Abraham saw in his son his willingness to do it, to not be scared, to not be running away, but to lay down his life. And then boom, there's a blessing. So I think that's so
Well,
cool.
I think Abraham taught his son exactly what the Lord told him is that he would be, and taught was, they were brought up in Torah, good and righteousness. And so I think he told his son what God had told him, that he would be a great, that it would come through Isaac, these many nations.
Yeah, no,
So,
totally.
yeah. So Isaac knew that, and they just trusted God. Yeah, yeah.
So cool, so cool. Um, so yeah, and another thing, kind of spend a little bit more time on, for those that had watched that episode, if you're here again, and maybe we said something that offend you, like, we'll straight up say, when it comes to circumcision, which Abraham did, and we see the blessings that he received in his household that received for being obedient to that. He does say it's an everlasting covenant with his people. But if you're doing this outwardly sign and you're not doing it in your heart, then it literally gains you nothing. It doesn't do anything for you. Um, and and I definitely think it's important. But I think what's even more important is that you are having an honest, truthful conversation, or rather relationship with the Father, in which to thy own self be true, that you are, um, you know, really thinking about, if you're not, or because, like, I love Big Bear, Owen Benjamin, but he had this big push against circumcision and all the things against it, and etc., the health and all that stuff. And I will admit, we don't know what their circumcision is, and compared to ours, if it's the same, if it's vastly different. There's a lot of theories and stuff around that. But if it's offended you, if I said, like, it's important to get circumcised and it offended you, maybe that's the Father's way of, kind of weighing something on your heart so that you think about it. And I'm not telling you one way or the other, but you should definitely, be having that truthful relationship with the Father, and asking him, because there's no person that has all the pieces of the puzzle. That's the whole point of this table. This whole point of the community is to come together and share those pieces of the puzzle. And we don't want people leaving just because they disagree with us. Okay, disagree with us, jump on Discord, which again, the link is in the description, and have a conversation with us. If you're not comfortable talking over voice, then we have text chats, and text there and say, hey, this is my thing. And if you're intellectually honest and spiritually mature, I think we should all be able to hear things that go contrary to what we believe, and still be able to be a part of a community where we know at least people are trying to seek the truth. Like, we all come together and know that the place we live is not the place that has been described. And we all have these doctrines that we've learned from whatever, pick your denomination. We all have these doctrines and these things that stick with us, that and I'm going to bring another thing up, is we use a lot, is iron sharpens iron, as a one man sharpens another. And I always add on to, like say, like literally to sharpen iron, you need heat, friction, and the removal of the material. And we all have material, i.e., doctrine, that we believed in, that we now coming out of those things, we can look back and be like, man, how was I deceived? And I think that an unsafe place to be is thinking that you're safe where you are, right? Meaning, right now where you are, no one has lied to you, no one has deceived you. You have perfect doctrine. That is a bald-faced lie, and we always need to continue to grow our pieces of the puzzle. So, long-winded to say, join the family, but that's the type of things we want to talk about here. That's the type of things that we want to get into and share and you know um, and grow. Anyways, what were you gonna say, Marsha?
Well, it was one thing that God did ask Abraham to do is to circumcise his whole family, and he was obedient. And that's, you know, I, that's what he did. So you just go and you look through scripture, I don't want to be on circumcision, but it's just you're walking out your faith with the Lord and looking at what he um, looking in his word and looking at the things that we can do that my phone, sorry,
No worries.
that we can do, and things that we can't do it anymore right now because of no priests and that.
Yeah,
But what we can do it.
yeah, and this is the thing: is it's like he even like we obviously, when coming into wanting to be an obedient father, there's not one person that has made this journey that's like, you need to do everything that he asks perfectly always, right? Like, no one expects that. What everyone should have a desire to do is when the father lays something on your heart, you know what I mean? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, we've bought things for the children or cereal or whatever, and we're eating them, and one day we read the thing and it's like, oh, this has gelatin from a pig. We're like, dang it, we
Lucky
can't eat that.
Charms.
Yeah, there's a good example. Lucky Charms. It's like, dang it, I love Lucky Charms. But to me, like when the father shows that to me, he's not showing it to me to be like, you're a bad boy, see, you're doing me wrong. He's saying, hey, here, look, here's another way you can be obedient to me. And that, like, there's so many people, definitely those outside the camp of wanting to be obedient to the father's words, in wholeness, that say all these things are done away with. You can eat whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, all sins forgiven, you have all the power of the spirit, you're completely, when I have those type of conversations, to me that is an ego thing. It's a part of someone's ego, not a part of their relationship with the father. And obviously that's a generalization, and I have very close people who have those views that I would consider my brothers and my friends. But I also think that those whole type of things are those doctrines, are those things that we need to shave off, that we need to remove to in order to be sharpened. Um,
Right. It's a journey, and you don't arrive at your destination that quick. So it's like you said, it's shaving off those things that the Father starts showing us, getting rid of them, purging what he shows us to do. So, and I think that's what Passover is really going through, looking at our past year, and getting the leaven out of our house as well as out of our lives. So it's a reflection and getting closer to Him.
yeah, and even that, like totally our first year, we removed all the leaven in our house. Well, guess what? There was something that we totally didn't think about that wasn't leaven. And the curse in there, right, is like super big. But he knows our hearts. He knew in our hearts we weren't hiding some leaven. We knew it was there. and so he's gonna curse our family, right? Is like in our
Exactly.
hearts he knew, in our hearts all of that leaven was gone. We had cleaned the house of it. And so
Correct.
the next year, we were way more diligent into looking through everything and just making sure, because the first year we did it, we didn't do it correctly. So he laid it on our hearts to do it this year. Make sure you do it 100%. And so that, like nothing negative came out of that, but we were definitely blessed because we felt like he showed up, because he definitely did.
Yeah. It's not God up there with a hammer. He is very merciful, and he does know your heart. And that, you know, that's exactly right. That was a good analogy there. Is, oops, I found something that had leaven in it. And guess what? God knew your heart. So,
Yeah, exactly. And to kind of what you were saying with the hammer, like I literally feel like most Christians see him sitting up there with a hammer and a sickle, because like he's a communist god. It's all love. It's all everyone's equal, and
yeah, he's ready to hit you if you've done something wrong. And yeah.
so, anyways,
Yeah,
so
I was just thinking of a chapter, a verse. I haven't found it, but it was Yeshua was talking about to the scribes and Pharisees or something, and he was saying, you wash the outside of the cup, but you don't wash the inside of it. Um, so they were like washing the outside to make it all polished, so people would look at it, from a distance and say, "Oh man," but they weren't washing the inside. It's like a parable saying, "Hey, it's your heart that you got to deal with." That's where the most
Exactly.
important leaven that you got
Sounds
to
just like a
get rid of.
Pharisee, huh?
yep. And this, I'll read that. It's Matthew 23:25, and it says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess." Some places say extortion and self indulgence, some say greed and temperance. Um,
They were whitewashed tombs, is what they were.
yeah.
Whitewashed death.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of funny, guys, because think literally about our rich people. Like literally go look up rich people's tombs. There are these elaborate, sepulchers, columns, statues, etc. And it's like it's kind of like what the Pharisees did, right? Like it's this, like literally all this beautiful stuff on top of a dead person. And I'm not going against anyone that wants to have that for their family. I'm not saying you're evil. I'm not even saying those people are evil. I'm just saying I think it's kind of shows kind of also the other side of the heart of man, to kind of to want those things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for sharing that. Switch it over. So yeah, I actually kind of spend a little bit of time and kind of shout some people out. Um, since we're kind of in a mid spot. First of all, thanks to Chris and Liz Bailey for allowing us to stream on Take on the World. We definitely have been blessed by y'all's channel and the shout outs that you do and the love you've shown us. Just for letting us stream over here and share our puzzle pieces with your family and community. I want to also shout out to all the people over on our Discord. Again, links in the description if you'd like to join that. But people like here, Marsha, and we also have Wrath. We have Pepper, Mandy. These are all people that have boosted the server to not only let us, share bigger files and share bigger, have better audio quality, but we definitely appreciate that. We got a little bit for we got, I think, 7 more boosts until we're at the full 14 to 14, which will unlock all the perks. So that will also boost the audio quality to YouTube as well as internally. So that always helps us as well. And we've got a lot of new people there. We got about 270 people there that you can get to know and join in conversation and fellowship with. So I wanted to shout out those people. And then all to the new subscribers, thank you so much. We're growing. As you see on screen, we're currently at 414. I'd love to get to, that 1,000 mark. We're going to have some stuff coming up as a goal to get there, so look forward to that. But as of right now, we really appreciate any subscription that we get. And then lastly, I kind of wanted to just take some time and shout those who, last but not least, some of those who are over in the, in the chat. So we got April, Zara, she's here. She's so awesome. She helps so much, not only in YouTube, but also in Discord. So thank you, sister. You're awesome. We have my lovely wife. We have Landon, Mrs. Vader. We have Landon Pett. It looks like Daryl Lee's chatting over there a little bit too. We got Battle Ready Believers. My brother Bear, JJ Hemp Creek Bear. Hope you're doing, man. I don't know if you caught the beginning, bro, but I would check it out if you kind of want to get an update on Anthony if you didn't see the announcement in the Discord. And then we got Salvas Urus, Genesis 1525. I'll copy that to my notes and add that to bring something up. And then that's over on the Take on the World side, so thank you all there. It looks like we got 16 people there, so thanks for the views. Hope y'all are enjoying the content. And then to the other side, to ours, it looks like we have a few other people over there as well. So it looks like we have Vaughn Gimbal Group. I talked to you a little bit, Vaughn. It was awesome. Thanks for joining our thing. Yeah, we can definitely have some great conversations. I see that you already jumped in and started to have some, conversations, I think, about the calendar and about the Sabbath day. So yeah, I love that you're reaching out to the community already. So I appreciate that. We got Robert Daniels. Thanks for being here, brother. Looks like we got Marsha over there chatting a little bit too. Parkway Legend. Thanks for being here, brother. Dr. Law, he's a legend as well. I like to call him Dr. Legend Law. And I'm excited. Like, if I ever get to go over to the East Coast, like, I'm definitely gonna go hang out with that fat fellow and the Kakalaki crew and Dr. Law. That'd be so awesome. And April, check her out. REL, Seeks Truth. She's awesome. And just going through here, see anyone else? We got FEAR. Thanks for being here, brother. Awesome. All right. Well, I just wanted to shout y'all out. Y'all, are what makes this possible. So thank you for being here and participating in chat. Like always, we'll read comments out from the last video, but comments help so much, guys. It really boosts us in the algorithm. So that's one of the best things that you can do. But anyways, so yeah, I feel like we've kind of summed up, a good amount of what we talked about over the the length of we talked about it was Abraham, Abram, nations, tribes, sons. So we kind of covered all those parts of Abraham and his story, and I know there's more even after he dies through Isaac and Isaac and so on. But we're actually going to be kind of moving forward and kind of skipping up to Moses' time. Now, of course, go read Scripture, go read the living Word of the Most High, and have that in your heart for yourself to feed yourself daily. But join us for these conversations as we go through Scripture and kind of point out some of the cool parts as we do so. So. Um, anyways, so that being said, I kind of feel like we've gone through all that for the procession. So, yep, what's coming up is Moses and the Exodus, and all the events that transpired during that era. So, I'm pretty excited about that. And then, so at this point, we got about like an hour 10 minutes left. So we're gonna kind of have just fun as we, as we dance and carry our banners over to the new main topic. And so as we do that, we're just going to have basically an hour to kind of chit chat and talk about things going on, or things that are important to us, whatever it is. So was there anything that kind of anyone had on their mind that they would like to share? I can pull up videos or pull up articles or whatever you'd like.
Mm,
Okay, well,
hadn't pondered that.
if you don't have anything right now and you'd want to go find something, go do it. I have a couple things that I can go ahead and share real quick. Let me pull those up. So I saw this article that recently came out. I don't know if others had saw it, but it's talking about this shrine that they had previously thought was like a military harbor, like where they would like test ships and do practice battles of shooting and etc. stuff like that before they were actually out on the open sea. So that's what for uh, one second. What That's where they would actually like practice whatever before they went on their pun.
All I have one. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
One thing is, as far as Ukraine and Russia and all like this, I think it's all something to keep us distracted. Although I did see something that made some sense, and it was about that Ukraine has what is it? Lithium for batteries. The big resources, and they want to go. The world wants to go electric, right, or whatever, and they have the largest resource of what that possibly is what they're going to go after or something. That's just something I heard. I don't know if it's all true, but anyway, I don't know whether it's just a distraction or they really are wanting to take over some of Ukraine for their resources.
Well, so we can talk about a little bit of Ukraine, and I talked about in the special episode war. So to kind of sum it up for those that didn't check that out, basically what's going on in Ukraine started, even before, but it kind of, so it started when when the Soviet Union dissolved and Ukraine got its own independence. So when that happened, even during that, when that happened, they still had an agreement with Russia that Russia would have access to Crimea because that was Russia's access into the Black Sea. Okay, so that had been the case. Well, in the Obama administration, they went over there and overthrew a democratically elected president and put in their own president. And so that president, and then the following president, which is their current president, those were they're pretty shifty characters. There's a lot of corruption with the first one, and we see that through things like Hunter Biden and him just straight up them base at the time Vice President Biden withheld, I think it was $5 billion of foreign aid to Ukraine because the vice president requested that the prosecutor who was prosecuting, bringing charges up against his son Hunter Biden, was prosecuting him. So they literally, the government, yeah, fired that prosecutor, ending the prosecution of his son, um, to get their foreign aid, which is highly illegal. It wasn't covered in the media, but it's 100% true. And so, anyways, now that we have Mr. President Biden himself, um, we basically, if you, now this is the thing, right, is like we all realize that there's propaganda not only from our side, but propaganda from Russia's side and propaganda from Ukraine's side. And so I'm not unaware of that, but at the same time, what I see is that they're definitely making some moves. I'm not 100% sure on the moves. What one of my biggest things is, like, let's look at where it's really affected us. Number one place of, like, what sucks about this war, most people would say they're not going to be like, because Russia's attacking Ukraine. They're going to literally say the gas prices, right? So think about the fact that 2 years prior to this, the events that would happen and how much less people were using gasoline to get around in their everyday lives. So I almost can see it as a push to put some money back into the piggy bank, of the people, who kind of lost out during this recent event, from the loss of people driving around, because people weren't going to events, people weren't like driving to work, like as much. So just some thoughts there. I may have ended up ranting and lost my train of thought, but it doesn't surprise me. And I literally have been looking this whole time and could not find it, but I'm gonna keep searching for it. Um, but hey, while I do that, Daryl, you live in Alaska, so it's starting to become our spring. Is it becoming your spring too? Or is it getting cold? Because you said it snowed. So do you get snow quite amount through your spring, or what?
Well, no, it was green. It started warming up. It was real cold like a little over a week ago or so. It got down to the low 20s, but then it warmed up again. But now this was just kind of a fluke little snow. It's so warm it didn't even stick on the ground, or it hasn't yet. Anyhow, it's kind of a rain snow.
Do you
Um,
have the seasons like we do? Like, I mean, would you start planting in April?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'll start planting here probably the end of this month. Yeah, in April, and hopefully, I mean, it snowed here one time. I think it was in April. We had like 2.5 foot of snow, which was really weird. But it didn't last very long, just like maybe a week till the rain
Yeah,
came.
but if you had little green little things coming up, that could have sure killed them off. I just find it.
Yeah, well, it depends. Like some things like kale will be okay at the
Yeah,
snow,
yeah.
and different things will handle it. But yeah, I got to be careful about that. You're right.
Those
But
little
yeah, I'm looking forward
tender
to
things.
it.
Yeah. All right. So I found this. So I'm gonna explain to y'all. If y'all want to see it, see what I'm showing them. I will. Ooh, 1 second, guys. Not what I wanted. Doesn't matter that you're seeing it, but give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna switch it so they can see it as well. So just bear with me. And screen share. Do this one. Go live. Okay. So if y'all want to see what I'm showing them, if y'all join me live, you'll be able to see it. But anyway, so pull that back up from them. Okay, perfect. So this is like just came out a couple days ago, and it says monumental structure in Sicily isn't a Phoenician harbor; it's a huge sacred pool of Baal. The Cothan of Monta in southern Sicily had first been assumed to be an artificial harbor. It wasn't. Archaeologist Lorenzo Nigro of Sapienza proves. So I'm not going to go into the article itself. Y'all are more than able to go look it up, but here's the article if you do. But anyways, they offer some of these pictures. This is the picture of what it looks like in real life, which I don't know about y'all. This gives me creepy feelings. Like looking at this and just the speculation on what happened in this place is pretty terrifying. But here's like a kind of a breakdown of what's going on. So it's a pretty big place, guys. That's a pretty big pool. This image kind of flattens it out, but when you kind of get a bird eye view of it, and here's a road and here's people, like take this person, put them in the corner, and then line that up. Like that's a lot of people who could fit into this pool. Not saying that people were in there. I'm just saying like the size and structure of it. That's pretty crazy, and we know the type of behavior that Nimrod, Apollyon, did. So
And that's a statue of Baal in the center.
I don't know. It doesn't really.
Well, it says so right on your picture here, I think. Statue of.
It says statue of Baal, yeah, but
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know if that's like the original statue or something they put out there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, pretty weird. That like nowadays they're just kind of upfront about it. Like they're bringing it back into this mind of people. This behavior is what Abraham was leaving. This type of thing, these statues, this is what he destroyed before he left his father's house. So, now of course none of us have these big, Baal statues out in front of our house, and we don't meet up there and do rituals, but I think there is a lot of things and a lot of doctrines and a lot of traditions that we do, that we believe in, that we're a part of, that are more connected to, and that's not just that's to everyone, and some maybe have less than the others. It's not really I'm talking about, but we should always be willing to like look out for those type of idols that we've placed in our lives. But I also wanted to show another thing. Let me pull that up.
There was something else I heard or saw, but I don't have the clip of it, that they found a vampire in a lead coffin. Oh, I think they're just trying to indoctrinate us for all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, they hid all the. See, this is what I think's happening, and why there's a resurgence of spiritual things, is because with the whole religion of scientism, it's nihilist, right? So when you get to the end of it, the truth, their nirvana, the enlightenment, is that you're a speck of dust in an endless void. You're an amoeba on a speck of dust in an endless void of nothing, right? So people are like, they don't feel that, and so they gravitate away, from that, into mysticism and New Age and etc. But I've shared this before. I'm gonna share it again. Literally, this was quite a bit ago, but just look, I searched asteroid. Fridge-sized asteroid hits Earth 2 hours after first spotted. NASA. Fridge-sized asteroids hits Earth 2 hours after it was spotted. NASA. An asteroid hit off of Iceland's coast. Here's why we didn't see it coming. NASA predicts time and place of small asteroids impact with Earth. Unexpected asteroid smacks Earth with little warning. Should we be concerned? Asteroid impacts Earth 2 hours after being discovered. So like maybe I'll enjoy the voice, but I don't know if y'all saw this happen, but apparently this asteroid the size of a fridge, if you all didn't get that, maybe they're trying to sell fridges right now. But but yeah, if it wasn't for NASA, like dude, guys, please see me that you see this. So all these people, right? 2 hours after first spotted, NASA predicts time and place of small asteroids impact with Earth. So they're saying within 2 hours of it spotting it, they knew exactly where it was going to hit.
Oh, and supposedly they could go to Mars, so why couldn't they see things? It's all nuts. It's just nuts.
But yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
literally flooded with it for the past few days. Of that same thing of this asteroid, and like when I showed it before, it literally said, this one may, hit so you can watch an asteroid zoom safely by Earth. An asteroid impact could wipe out an entire city. A space security expert explains NASA's plans. Asteroid that caused dinosaurs' extinctions hit Earth in spring.
Yeah.
Dude,
Another thing, what they're trying to do with Earth is making it so insignificant by means of God. The Father made earth and heaven, and we're going to still be here on earth. Earth was made for us. We're not, not everybody's going up to heaven. We're staying here.
yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
can go up and down in heaven and that, but we are gonna all, as spiritual beings, and for the millennium and whatever, here on Earth. Earth is very special.
Oh yeah, 100%. It literally is the stage in which all of this whole thing happens. It's
It's
like think about any story and take away where they are. Well, it really changes stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, if you think about how they tell how all the Christianity preaching and everything, we go up to heaven. It's almost like Earth is going to be poof, nothing. No, it's still going to be here, and we're going to be on it. And it's amazing uh, how they really try to make Earth so insignificant. And we are going to, even when we're all resurrected at the very end of the millennium, Earth is going to be inhabited and tended to and gardened and whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, it's crazy. I also wanted to show another thing because I saw that in here, Robert Daniels said, so the cosmonauts showed up at the International Space Station wearing yellow and blue. Strange coincidence. So our sister Ariel, she's Ariel Seeks Truth is her YouTube. But anyway, I'm trying to find where she posted it, and I'll have to look at her name. But she actually showed me something. I was like, oh my Lanta. Like, they literally, no, not here. They literally have kind of been programming this. Why isn't it pulling up for her? That's so weird, because I'm literally searching her name. Let me see if it's all weird or something.
You're literally saying literally a lot.
Sorry, I'll literally stop saying literally. Everyone, promise. So that's so weird. Maybe it's in Truth Topics. She posted it somewhere, but basically what it is I'll kind of explain it as I'm searching for it. But it's someone made a video where it was literally over and over again. It showed, like all the, yellow and blue or blue and yellow from the Ukraine stuff. And then it showed a whole bunch of advertisements, like from everywhere, of the whole beer bug thing. And guess what the color scheme of that was?
What?
No, yellow and blue.
Blue.
Yeah. So it's like literally I'm saying literally so much now. It's the exact same color scheme of their new thing. And then think about this, that like the transition, everyone, like all the normies or whatever you want to call them, they're all like, hey, we're sick of wearing the mask, because they see all the non people with the face coverings not getting, ill, and then they're like, well, I don't want to do it if they don't want to have to do it. And at this, like when a lot of the world, remember all these protests that were happening in various, European countries and stuff, like all that is now gone, and now it's just this thing, and the color scheme is the exact same, so they're moving it on.
Didn't it start, or I can't remember, the French when they did the yellow vests? Yellow vest stuff, all
the yellow vest group, right? Like all that disappeared.
Yep.
And the truckers in Canada and the truckers in the United States, all that's gone.
Well, they got something up their sleeve. Something's coming. I hope it's not true, but it's sure looking like it. I can't believe gasoline, the price, and we haven't even hit summer, and that's when they hike up the prices. So I suggest everybody do their travels before summer, because it could really skyrocket.
Yeah, I wonder how far they're gonna take this. I don't know, but I want to show this video real quick. This is from the Dollar Vigilante. I'm not gonna show a whole bunch because I know that some people are pretty anti let people share their stuff. So that being the case, I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say before you do that, I just had a thought. Sorry, but
Go ahead.
yeah, the first thing that Biden did when he got in office was close down the Keystone Pipeline. It's like, yeah, I don't want to sound too much like a conspiracy theorist, but it seems like all these things that have happened is like they knew well in advance, about this fuel shortage or fuel crisis thing we're going through, and he prepared to make it even worse.
Oh yeah. That's how they work for sure. It doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
About it, but yeah, let's play this real quick. Sorry if that killed everyone's ears.
We didn't hear it.
Okay. Oh, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna pause this real quick so I can share it. So give me 1 second with them, and then y'all can just look at my screen on Discord. Pull this up. Applications. It's this one. Okay, I'm live if y'all want to join me. Just waiting for them to join, guys. Give me 1 more minute. Are y'all? Let me know when y'all have joined. If y'all want to watch it.
Oh, we gotta watch it on. Not. It won't be on.
Well, you can look at it there, or you can it's better not a few, but either Marsha or Chris, if y'all want to watch it in Discord, I'm live, so I'll just play it. If not, no worries.
Just play it.
Yeah, my internet
is scraped and scrubbed and soaked.
Oh, 1 second, guys. I'm playing it, but it's not.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so we all see it's blue and yellow. There's all this stuff. We see it right now on Facebook, on CNN, on Fox, on everywhere. Okay, but I'm gonna skip ahead here. Right, we see it a whole bunch, but look at this, guys. Look at this. So yeah, that's that. I don't feel like I need to play any more of that. Go check that out. The Discord, you can find the link for that in the Discord. But anyways, the whole point. Sorry about that, guys. The whole point of me showing that isn't that insane? Like they're literally like none of us noticed this.
No, yellow and blue,
But they
you're
were
showing
pre-programming us for the ever.
Yep.
For 2 years. So I don't know. I thought that was a pretty interesting look into it, and I hadn't noticed, but I don't really watch that much, mainstream anything. So I don't really have access to seeing that type of stuff, but I guess I see my Google feed every now and then when I have nothing to do and I'm looking at news, and that's how I saw that article of Bale, which I feel is like it's pretty important.
Yeah. Speaking of that Bale article, when Hitler was running around, he went to Pamia, I think it was, and got the altar of Satan or Baal there, and brought it over there to Germany. And if you look at Revelations 2, I think it is, where it says, talking about Patmos, that there knows that there was in the Satan seat, was where they were. I'm not sure if there's a connection there, but anyhow, in 2023, they're supposed to be bringing the altar back to Turkey, is what I heard.
Yeah, that's like the ark. It's like an arch. I said ark. It's like an arch.
Well, there's a whole museum there in I guess it's Germany, Palmia, I think is what it's called, museum, where they have the altar of Satan there, and I mean it's a huge museum that they made. But yeah, Turkey's been trying to get it back for a long time, but it's supposed to go back in 2023.
April said the Vatican uses blue and yellow also. I read it in chat, so they're blue and yellow.
So that flat fellow just said something. He said everyone in the world has a cell phone. If there was a real war going on, we would see Facebook, I'm guessing, with nothing but cell phone war footage from 500 acres. I kind of agree with that, but I also know that if I was in that situation, I don't know if I would be standing around filming people. If like people are shooting and tanks are shooting, like all that stuff, I don't know if I'd really be filming. And I've seen some footage, but it all looks fake. So, I definitely wonder. But what's weird is like, if nothing was happening, period. Like, I don't get how Russia couldn't or wouldn't be able to do something about that. And maybe that is the case, and they're trying to kind of taunt them, Russia to take a step too far, where now, the stakes go up, but I don't know. I think something's happening. I think it was like an exercise. Like the Russians were told, "Hey, this is an exercise. We're just gonna exercise." But then they started going in, and they're like, "Wait, what do you mean this is an exercise?" And I also think that a lot of the things that we see, you know, like we understand that in his story there's a lot of discrepancies from the truth and what his story is. um so yeah, I don't know, you know. I think that something may definitely be happening, but on the scale, like, you get all these reports of Ukrainians shooting down all this stuff. It's like, is that really true? Like, how do they prove that, you know? It is kind of weird though to say, like, if this is a war in the current, like, if this is like a real thing going on, then how different maybe it feels than like other, you know, eras before us. Because, like, for instance, in like World War II, they had like radios saying, you know, tonight we found out blah blah blah, and that took a while for that information to get, you know, out to the public, whereas nowadays it's like instant. So I do wonder that. But then, you know, like you're saying, why don't we have all these, what if there are, and they're literally being, you know, hidden? You know, I saw other people you know, bring the thought that maybe, um you know, as we've seen with like the Rostov fire, that maybe it's Ukraine attacking some of these places to blame Russia to get, you know, to get more support from the world. That, you know, Russia's doing these bad things, and how will they be able to be like, this is the guy that pressed the button, this is the guy that released that, you know? I don't know. It just feels very weird compared to what I feel like other like other eras would feel.
Yeah. Well, we're the internet era too. Yeah, it's hard to say. I just think it's all theater. People do get hurt, people do get bombed, all that stuff, but it's all theater. It's just they keep moving towards their agenda.
Yeah,
Agenda 2030. And that's why gas is, I really am concerned about gas in a sense, um, going really, really high, because they do want us all electric. You know that. We all know that. But it's going to take time. You just can't turn everything over to electric, but they're working on it. And the more people that won't be able to even drive their cars, or it's, oh, they're going to make a mess of things. Just
yeah,
a
I
mess.
think they can, right? Like, so they can only go so far with it, right? Like, what I mean by that is, let's take our last, you know, season of the world as a stage, and like they took it all the way to the point where they convinced a lot of people to put stuff inside of them, put stuff over their face, for sure. But they weren't able to like go all the way through where they made it a mandate, right? Like, where period, point blank, they could require businesses to require said, you know, putting thing inside of you. So
Right.
they could so I feel like that's the same thing. Like, they're, at least in this current situation, as far as it is like in a geopolitical stance, the United States, I feel like most people aren't going to say, let's go to war with Russia because of Ukraine.
Right.
Right? It's like, we're going to go take over. And this is the thing, guys. We've talked about this before. The people on eastern Ukraine, southeastern Ukraine, they want to be a part of Russia. This isn't something new that Russia just did all of a sudden. This has been brewing for a long time. Kiev, the capital side, it's also, you can also find out that they were literally shutting off the water to southeastern Ukraine. Their farmers weren't getting water for irrigation. Their people weren't getting for water for drinking and bathing and all that stuff. So it's not like it's all one-sided and there's this moral high ground from one side or the other. Like, legitly, both sides have the moral high ground only if you believe certain information. So it's I don't know. It's really weird. It's like nothing we're going to be able to do anything about, and that's why we had that thing war, and to talk about, we've seen this same play used over and over throughout history. And as Marcia said, people do die, people do get hurt, people get bombed. We pray for those people, we pray for their healing, absolutely. But this is just another way of bringing fear into your life. Oh my gosh, is it going to be World War III, etc., etc.? This is just them leaving the real, like, they were able to get people really good in the past 2 years. If they can continue on that streak where they can really get people with this thing, then that will definitely lead to a world war. But if we all say, no, this is garbage, this is stupid, we don't believe in it, like this isn't a moral high ground of Ukraine that are just innocent people that are getting invaded. They were literally starving people out as well. So there's no moral high ground in this. So yeah. Anyways,
This is Y2K all over again.
yeah, absolutely. It's another thing for us to be fearful of.
But it is to tear us down as Americans. I mean, if America falls, I guarantee you, the world will all completely change. Completely.
Or prosper.
If we fall, maybe.
Probably. I mean, we've had our hand,
Oh,
we've had
I
people
agree.
in chains for a long time.
I agree.
Well, they've been talking about ushering in the new world order and everything like that, and they always have a catastrophe, and they come in and we plan to save the day. They cause the catastrophe just so they can get their plan to save the day.
Oh
so
yeah,
that
it's the
new
Galilean
world
dialectic, order out of chaos.
exactly.
They do the
Yeah.
same thing over and over, and it's so, like, to us, right? Like, we see that and we're like, guys, look how fake that is. And then other people are like arguing with us of how real it is. It's like it is very frustrating, but like, that's what we're here for. We're to plant seeds, and sometimes we're not going to see those seeds grow, and we're not going to get to harvest that. That's fine. That's the Father's, but that's why I love this community. I love talking about this stuff. I love listening and learning about this stuff. And so having a place to do that is just so awesome. And like, we literally come together and tell each other, don't fear, pray for it, like all what real brothers and sisters do. And so it's so awesome to me. But anyways, I'm kind of getting off topic. So yeah, okay. So
Don't get black pilled.
Yeah,
I said don't get black pilled.
Don't get black pilled. All the different color pills of the rainbow, apparently now. Even though black isn't.
If you don't know what it is, look it up later.
Well, they got a blue stripe in our flag now. They got a red stripe, red and white stripes. They got a blue stripe on it now and a green stripe. All we need is a yellow stripe, right? And we'll have the rainbow flag.
Yeah.
I don't know if you followed that. But
No, I get you.
Yeah.
It's preposterous. What they do. I'm just
Also, transgenderism was big in Egypt and through all that, and that's what they want us. They want transgenderism again.
Oh yeah, that's why they had all the same haircuts and shaved heads and pretty weird. So Who who believes that NASA's Mars helicopter captures a stunning view of the Martian desert? Can,
They got
it's like,
helicopters to Mars now, huh?
guys, literally, oh my god, it's a picture of sand, like it's going up an embankment. And so instead of like waiting to get above the embankment to take a good picture, they just like looked at the ground at an awkward angle and took a picture. I'm going to show this for people. It's like, oh my gosh, this helicopter took this picture. Now, how high are they trying to say this picture is? That's
Oh,
what I would like to find out. Does anyone make a guess here? Everyone, cast in your vote now. How high is this picture? It says Mars glimpsed from mid-air. This is a helicopter taking a picture. How far is this picture? Like how high is this helicopter when they take this picture? Everyone guess. I want to see numbers in the chat. And
I
then
haven't seen the picture.
yeah, there we go. Let me go real quick. Put it in the chat, guys, and I'm gonna let them see it real quick. Screen. This one, go live, and I'll show this again. Let's see how many people think they can guess how this is. All right, that's enough time. If people feel like they wanted to make a guess. Okay, here we got an image right here. What is this? What is this right here? I have no idea. A point of view called. So this is it. Image showed widespread force. It says the ingenuity. I don't know why I can't say that. Helicopter, an experimental robot, has vastly exceeded engineers' expectations. NASA hoped to prove it could fly something on Mars. Now, the helicopter has flown over 21 times, and its next journey is expected to span some 1,150 feet while avoiding a hill. That's literally like. Anyways, this upcoming flight will be the 22nd entry in our logbook. Chief pilot Harvard Grip said in a statement, "I remember thinking when this all started, we'd be lucky to have 3 entries and immensely fortunate to get 5. Now at the rate we're going, I need a second book. The chopper will soon accompany the car-sized Perseverance rover on a journey through the Dry River Delta, a place planetary scientists suspect once teemed with water. The mission seeks evidence that primitive microscopic organisms once dwelled in the moist environments of Mars. Still today, there's no proof of life anywhere beyond Earth." So they don't even give the information of it. So those that guessed, appreciate you for guessing. Of course they don't see it, but just look at it. So is this the helicopter, right? Like I see wings here, right? I see this thing, okay, and I see a shadow here, right? So I'm looking at this. I'm kind of comparing the size of what this could be. Then I'm looking at the shadow. That does not look right. This literally looks like someone's laying on the ground and taking a picture. It doesn't look like it's way up in the sky taking a picture down. Like these rocks look like these rocks. I don't know. They just have so much nonsense, guys, and I don't. They obviously put this stuff out because it gets a lot of hits, right? A lot of people watch it, or they wouldn't put it out. And then think about YouTube. Think about, and of course there could be some grabbler there where they show they have more shows and views than they do, and they have more, subscribers they do. Like I get all that, but the just the amount, like literally everyone. You have NASA, NPR, Life Science, NASA Blogs, PBS, Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Like, you have all of these people putting out all this stuff every day, constantly. Like, I guess it could be just purely to put it out there, but I feel like it has to be somewhat popular, don't you think?
Yeah.
I just can't. It's hard to wrap my own mind around that people believe that Mars. We're gonna go to Mars. We can't go back.
We don't even have like moon stations or nothing, you know. I mean, he figured we'd have stuff in first.
I'm thinking. I try to think. If I wasn't awake, would I? I probably would fall for it. But it really does that. It's just ridiculous looking. Just ridiculous.
Yeah. And I also heard that they recently pushed back the moon flight again. The next moon mission. They pushed it back another 4 years. So when Trump comes in and gets elected for his second term, you know, I bet he's going to be like, we're going to get back to the moon with our Space Force.
All right.
It's just so much stuff. Astronomers find two giant black holes spiraling towards. How are they seeing a black hole?
They just have to say it, Vader. That's all they have to do is say it.
It's literally insane. Russia has lost its power over NASA and in the space station. What does that mean for the, like, do they have Russian astronauts right now in the ISS? Are they gonna kick them out of the dock? Whoa, that was really loud. Whoever just made that sound. Sorry about that, everyone. Alrighty, well, you know, I don't really have any more to share. You know, I'm just kind of going through these for people. I just literally searched NASA and just showing you what's in news. They have just pages and pages upon propaganda for this stuff, and you know, it's crazy. But yeah, so yeah, I guess it is. We are. Oh, go ahead, Pep. Sorry, go ahead, Marcia.
They just have to. They have to keep pushing this stuff because when the beast comes eventually, they're gonna have. We've got to have some alien, something, and so they got to keep pushing it. They just got to. It's not gonna go away. This. We just got to wake up as many people as we can.
Yep. No, exactly. That's literally all we can do, and that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing in Discord. So, yep, we're definitely love when people join there and have conversations and ask questions and share their thoughts and their pieces of puzzle. So make sure, if you don't, check out the link in the description. There's a Discord link that'll take you there. Take you to the welcome section. People will say hi and you know, welcome you to the family. So yeah, but other than that, we're gonna wrap this up a little earlier now. We're about 20 minutes early. But yeah, the procession, we're moving on, guys. We're going to Moses and Exodus, and we're gonna start diving in there and going through. So I hope you're excited for that as we progress. Now, a next episode is going to be a Jubilees. So for those on the panel, those that are in chat, those in Discord, those that watch us later, Jubilees is completely open. So even if you want to just ask a question and come on and just ask a question, if you want to come on and kind of explain this idea that you'd really love people to hear, or your thoughts about, you know, anything, that's the time to do it. It's going to be an open forum. It won't even be like Procession where we have even an, you know, it's going to start out and we're going to just be like, hey, what's on people's minds? What have they seen? And all that stuff. So those are always fun because they're free-flowing conversation as opposed to like, hey, we gotta kind of keep on a schedule. But anyways, so check those out. But before I start our goodbyes, I'm going to go and show, like I always do, the comments from the last video. Again, those really help. So please leave a comment, on the videos. They really do help. So this is the one. Let me pull this on screen. So this was the last episode, which was episode number 17, Sons. And this is on the ECF one. So Marsha, legend herself, says, great time as always. Yes, it indeed was. Odd and Interesting said, you're right about the Muslims also keeping Torah. They keep dietary law. If you look, you can definitely see how they started in the same spot. Plenty of Jews deny Christ. Yeah, absolutely. I also think that they're a little bit more closer to us, like, or even to Christians, than they are even Judaism, even though they started in the same spot. But I definitely think they're way more obedient to those type of things than a lot of Christians are. But anyways, appreciate your comment, Odd and Interesting. We definitely helps out. And then this is over at Take on the World. Shout out to y'all legends over there. Thank y'all for joining us over there. Consider giving us a subscription over here as well. But Theodore B said, this is a great channel. Thanks, guys. You are the best. Appreciate it. We appreciate that. Come join us over here as well in our Discord if you want to have some great conversations. Also, for those that don't know, we do a Jubilee study on Tuesdays. And you can always get more information about that in the Discords as well. In the Discord as well. And then we also have our lovely sister April. She said, awesome topic today. You blew my mind. Didn't see it from that perspective before. Keep on growing. Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for helping us do that. So that is the comments that we had. So go ahead and leave one for next time. So that it helps us out and helps us grow. It really does we really do appreciate that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up and say our goodbyes, and let everyone enjoy the rest of their Saturday evening. So I'll go ahead and let you start, Daryl, if you don't mind, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm just happy to be here. Still sad that Anthony's not, but we're wishing him well. Anyhow, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hope to see you on the Jubilee episode, and think about some topics. And we'd like to get you on the panel here too, so that'd be great. Anyhow, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, indeed. Perfect, thank you. And you, Sister Marsha?
You took what I was going to say, Daryl. I was going to say, I was going to say, since it's going to be a Jubilees, that everybody think of something. Think of something you'd really want to talk about. It would really be fun to get a lot more people talking, coming in, and it can be a real enjoyable time.
Oh, yeah, and when it's not, it's like, instead of us, like, grouping up all these puzzle pieces and saying, okay, these are the similar topics, let's look through these. It's like it's a smorgasbord of whatever topic people want to talk about. So it really spices it up and changes it up, and they're awesome. So yeah, definitely fun if y'all would like to join.
So shalom, and thanks for having me, Bader.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for being here, sister. Awesome. All right. So, I'm going to have to agree with Daryl, and, thanks for being here. I am sad that Anthony's not been here. This is the first episode that he hasn't been with me on, and, I'll keep everyone up to date through Discord, what's going on when I do know more. So, hopefully that's sooner than later. Other than that, I appreciate you all and enjoy, all the discussions y'all have. I do go back and like reading through y'all's things and getting some points up there. So I do appreciate that as well. But anyways, I won't keep you any longer. I'm going to go ahead and end it with with Frankie B and Nick's song, Love Is Your Witness. And it's a song reminding, to that love is your witness. So let that show through. So, Have a great night. Shabbat shalom. Until next time, remember, Abba loved you first. Bye-bye.
Shabbat shalom, y'all.
Love is your witness. Love is your witness. Love is your witness.